This is what I call the so what night at Mix. Because there is a danger, even as she prayed, that at this moment, if you ask, awesome, give it up for Jacob. So if you ask, if you say, hey man, we just had this awesome, amazing, wonderful, week at Mix, and the response, I'm afraid, at times of the world is, so what? No, I mean, we sang and we did church clap and we just, it was crazy and okay, but so what? Yeah, but we had these speakers and we had presentations and we had the video series, but somebody can ask, you see, guys, if we all come here and do all this and then go home just the same, quite frankly, Satan will pay for us to come to Mix every year because he can get us to think that simply by showing up and yelling and screaming, we're doing something. And here's the challenge. The something, the to be continued, is what's about to happen. It's what's going to happen when I leave and you leave. When you get back in your buses and vans and cars, when you head back and when you step out at your house or at your church, the question is, does to be continued continue? There is a danger. The Satan's plan is, you guys just have this awesome time at Mix, and then so long as you get back and you're the same person when you go back that you were when you left. You know what I mean, right? So that when you get back and you get off the bus and your mom and dad and your little brother or little sister are there and they're like, hey, how you doing? And you get in the car and your mom does what your mom does. Well, how was the week? Did you have a good time? Did you enjoy it? What did you learn, right? She's asking, she wants to hear about it. Or maybe it's your dad. Well, hey, bud, tell me a little bit about it there. We missed you this week. What's going on? And you, of course, are completely exhausted. And your little brother or sister is saying, what'd you do? What'd you do? What'd you do? Was it fun? Was it fun? Was it fun? And you're like, oh. You just want to send them to be with Jesus right there at that moment, just ah. And if you do what you feel like and you say, well, you just knock it off, then your dad's going to say, hey, now, come on. She's missed you. She's looked forward to you being back all week long. Come on, tell us a little bit about it. Hey, guys, I am exhausted. I got 3 hours of sleep the whole week and lived on red licorice. I am completely tired and exhausted. We did games and everything. Please, my head hurts. I'm just tired. Will you leave me alone? And your mother says, hey now. We're not going to have that. We did not spend all that money to send you to Mix to have you come back like a demon. We are not going to have that. Now you tell me one thing you learned there, Buster. And you say, okay, I learned how important it is to be a servant and to care for other people. Now leave me alone. Oh, I wish that were a joke, because the reality is that's happened. It's happened from church camp. It's happened from Mix. It's happened from, if you go to a Believe weekend. I love those Believe weekends that CIY does for junior hires. Or if you get to a senior and you go to Move or you go to some other event. Guys, it happens on Sunday. When we cruise into church and we're, yeah, that's awesome. Maybe even the youth pastor says, hey, listen, will you lead the prayer? Or maybe you're in the worship service and they're just singing this awesome song and it's like, yes. You feel so awesome. I mean, even here, man, when we sing some of these songs, I hear you guys praising God and I think, dude, if Satan showed up, you would kill him with your bare hands. It would just be like, yes. But before you know it, man, we're getting into vans and buses going home, and, shut up, move over, that's my seat, Shotgun, you sat up here last time. Your poor sponsor says, okay, we're going to pull over and get a little bite here at a McDonald's. I am not going to McDonald's. I hate McDonald's. I will sit in this van and at Rugland. I'm going to text my mom. You're trying to give me poison. Yeah, it's already happened. And oh, by the way, Satan is like, yes. Because then everybody else looks at Christians and goes, yeah, right. You guys just, you're the wannabe fans who get really excited on Sundays at the game, if you will, but then as soon as it's all over, you're just like the rest of us. I would like to challenge all of us to give Satan a very bad weekend, to give him a miserable weekend. I would like to challenge with just 3 stinking words how we can do that. Here it is. To be, everybody say, content. Yeah. Now, how do we do that? And what does it look like for us to do that? I'm a sucker for a really great series on Netflix or on TV or wherever. And whenever a series looks like, oh no, I think they're ending it. In fact, this year, I love 4th of July. I especially loved 4th of July this year because season 3 of, yeah, put it up, Stranger Things. Okay, now, when I saw the season 3, put up the season 3 one, the next one. When I saw the promo for season, now, some of you are going, I've never seen Stranger Things. Others are going, I saw one that time and I hated it. That's okay. That's totally cool. That's fine. And for those of you who have not seen season 3, I don't want to, if this is a spoiler, I so hate it. But you need to know that in season 3, Elle, at the end of it, has a nosebleed. It's, yeah, yeah. Anyway, okay, so the challenge is that when you get to the end of one of those, you're like, oh no, are they going to kill this main character or that main character? Are they going to wrap it up? Is it going to be over? Do they all get taken to Mars? What's going to happen? And when you see them give you just a glimmer that it's, everybody say, to be continued. Exactly. When you see that, it's like, yeah. But there are other series that I have enjoyed for a long, long time in my life. The problem is that the main character, how can I say this? Well, here, I don't have to say it. I can show it. Now, first off, anybody recognize this guy? Yeah, right? Great guy. Love the guy. The problem with this guy was that he turned into this guy. And all of a sudden, yeah, it's like Han Solo is your grandpa. How did that happen, And some of you know that the movie makers had to make a decision about what to do with this character, about what do you do when a character comes to the end of his, of his journey. And there were people who, and I guess most everybody in here knows what happens to his boy. He goes, you're on the bridge, and yeah, okay. So, but there are a lot of folks who are like, no, why do they do that? And I love what the actor actually said. He made the comment to some magazine. He said, what? Do they want Han Solo to come out, in a wheelchair? Hey, Wookiee, come on. He said, at some point, I had to hand the baton. Everybody say, hand the baton. I had to hand, and by the way, for those of you who didn't see the reboot, check this out. Okay, here is the original Han Solo, played by Harrison Ford, right? Here is the new Han Solo, played by this guy. Evan something, I can't remember exactly his name. Yeah, I know. I actually saw him, and I thought he was pretty good. Now, I have seen Harrison Ford do a really bad baton pass. Let me show you this one. This was my favorite movie series, maybe of all times. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Indiana Jones. Well, they got to the end, and they said, oh, here's what we'll do. We'll give him a son, and we'll hand it off to, Shia LaBeouf, which I know, it just didn't work for like 38 different reasons. It's what I call a baton drop. And tonight, I want to reenact maybe the most famous baton pass of all, and it wasn't from Harrison Ford nor from any other actor or actress. It was from an old guy who hands it off to a younger man. The old guy's name starts with an E, ends with Elijah, brilliant group. And the young guy's name starts with an E and ends with Elisha, right. J comes before S in the alphabet. That's the way I remember it. So Elijah comes to a moment in his life where God says, and this is after he's gone through everything. He got the blues, right? And that's after all of the conquest of the prophets of Baal and all of the great things he did. But he gets to the point where he knows, man, I gotta, everybody say pass the baton. Right, exactly. I gotta pass the baton on. And so he picks this guy. Now, he picks a guy whose name is just like his, which is a little confusing, but okay, whatever. And so, because God says, go get Elisha from Shaphat and help him to become you. And so Elijah does so. And he walks with him. And he teaches him. But then there's this freaky, crazy, quite frankly, Stranger Things-ish moment when Elijah, here, look at the text. The scripture says that Elijah, as they were, you guys do the yellow words, as they were. Now, by the way, I want you to note that phrase because it tells you how Elisha was preparing Elijah. He's spending time with him. He's talking with him, right? Makes sense? He's actually showing him, how do you be a prophet? How do you do this? He is mentoring. Everybody say mentor. Guys, if I could pray one thing for every one of you, one thing, it would not be that you become a millionaire. It would not be that you become the most famous. It would not be that you become a movie star. It would be that you get a great Christian mentor in your life. Now, that mentor might be related to you, but they might not be. That mentor might be somebody who's just a few years older than you, or that mentor might be somebody who's several years older than you. But having somebody like Elisha had in Elijah is so valuable. It's like going hiking with somebody who knows exactly how to do the trail. It's like taking a boat ride with somebody who has driven through this section of the lake 1,000 times and knows. It's like going in the dark through a scary patch of woods when your flashlight goes out, but the person with you lives just outside the woods and says, I know this like the back of my hand. And she or he says, just walk right behind me. That's what Elisha does for Elijah and what we all need in our lives. Having said all that, let's go back to the text. As they were, suddenly a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared. Everybody say, woo. Yeah, weirdness, right? Whoa. In fact, several people have described this scene. Those could be aliens. Okay, that's just weird. But anyway, this scene of this fiery chariot and fiery horses. And by the way, a chariot in Elisha's day is like a limo. Poor people don't ride in chariots. Elisha has been basically a nobody, this prophet, a guy who basically lives from people kind of here. Let me give you some food. Let me take care of you. He wasn't a wealthy man, but here is a limo coming from the skies to take him. And the Bible says that it appeared and, next section. Yeah, this is the moment I don't like. It's the moment when one character goes away. And another character says, oh my goodness, me? Now, I keep using this phrase, passing the, and I realize that maybe not everybody here may have done that. My son Taylor ran the 440. The 4x400. The 4x400 relay is a relay in which 4 runners each do the 400 yards, which is, not a long way, but you need to be girded up to really sprint, really blow it out for 400 yards. It's the 100-yard dash times 4, right? And my son was in it, and I was so excited when he got on the high school team. And I went down to one of the practices. Actually, it was a local meet, kind of a pretend meet with a couple other schools before the real season gets going. And I sat in the stands, and my son, when he runs like a gazelle. He runs like a sprinter out of the Olympics. He was built for it. He had the smooth. I mean, I run like, this waddling penguin. But Taylor, when he runs, I look at him and I think, thank you, God, for giving him that gift. To this day, he has this Usain Bolt kind of gait that's just gorgeous. And I got there with my video cam because I wanted to get some footage of my son that I could always have of him. Because once the people get there, it's kind of hard to get around it because we didn't have bleachers and I didn't want to be that guy right out there on, because that would freak my son out. So I thought, I'll get him while they're practicing. The practice looked like this. Let's see, I got my baton here. The practice looks like this. There's like, it's hard to imagine. I need a youth minister. Zach, I talked to Zach earlier today. Where are you, Zach? Are you in the house? From Mountain. Dude, bring it up, come on. Zach serves a church in Maryland, right? Mountain. All right, Maryland's in the house. And you got your mixed t-shirt on. Well played, Zach. Well done. Okay, now, Zach, how many years you been there now?
2, a little more than 2.
Okay, a little more than 2 years.
Yep.
Did you ever run the relay in school?
No.
No, okay. Well, this is your first time, guy. Stand right here.
All right.
And I want you to face that wall right there, okay? And we're going to practice. Here's what we're going to practice.
Okay.
We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Starting with your right foot. Try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, just... Look a little more like Usain Bolt there. Yeah, okay, all right, yeah. So maybe kind of hey, and then once you've gone 1, 2, 3. On 4, I want you to shoot your hand back and open it like that. Okay? All right? Okay. So here we go. You ready? Here we go. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, okay. No, I apologize. We're going to keep.
That you?
Yes.
That was your fault.
That was my fault.
Okay.
We're going to keep. We're going to keep going.
Okay.
Okay. And doing the same thing.
Okay.
Notice I did not say grab it.
All right.
I just said, boom, just get your hand back there so you, but when your hand's back there, do it, shoot your hand back. You put your hand, thank you. You want to feel, you just want to feel it where you could grab it, okay? Here we go, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. I watched them do that for 15 stinking minutes. I am videotaping, thinking, this is going to be good. It's a great video. I'm like, what is going on? I want to see my son running. And it looks a little more interesting when they'd actually, we need 2 more. Can you? Grab 2 more kids, or whoever. Just whoever. You got an intern, a kid, whoever.
I have an intern.
Yeah, holler at him. Shannon?
My intern's name is Shannon.
Shannon and?
I don't know. I don't know her name. She picked him. So.
Shannon and a person you do not know. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Okay. All right. Hi, Shannon.
Hey, I'm Shannon.
Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And how long have you interned with this guy?
This summer.
Pardon
Just
me?
This summer.
Awesome. How did you get roped into work with Zach?
So I grew up going to Mountain.
Okay.
And then I'm back from college for the summer and hanging out.
Sweet. Where are you going to college?
Cincinnati Christian
Cincinnati, you. Okay, all right. We'll get in front of him. And hi, my name is Jeff. What's yours?
Lisette.
Pardon me?
Lisette.
Lisette is so glad to be here. Is this your first time to come to one of these things?
Yes.
Awesome. Have you had fun?
Yes.
Good deal. Would you get in front of, tell me her name again?
Shannon.
Shannon. All right, good. You get in front of Shannon. Okay, now, we're going to try this, okay? And we're going to go, let's all first try the running. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, okay, just a second. Yes, you got it, Lisette. It's on number 4. You shoot that back, and the right foot is number 1. It looked easy on paper. Here we go. Okay, all right, then. 1, 2, 3. Just a sec. I'm going to go, okay, and then I'm going to say 1.
I got you.
Okay, all right, good. I just, it's, okay, all right, here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, on the 4, Zach, you're going to come back. So it's been a long week. I know you have no sleep. All right, here we go. Everybody say, I believe in you. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Now, I'm going. No. I know. I didn't know it was loaded. Okay, listen. This time I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, ready? Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, okay, all right, okay, hang on a second. Okay, first off, this is what the coach told me. He said, anybody can run, because I went down there. I was that dad. I went down and I said, excuse me, coach? I was going to get a little footage of the boys running. When are they going to run? He said, in the race. I said, yeah, but don't they need to practice? And he said, are you Taylor's dad? I said, yeah, I am. Pleased to meet you. Yeah, well, pastor, blah, blah, blah. He said, I've been coaching relays now for 28 years. I said, that's cool. He said, you ever coached a relay? No. He said, you ever run in a relay? No. He said, well, there's something you don't know. Your son, Bob, Tony, and Gary here, these guys can run all day by themselves. Running is not the challenge. This is where the relay is won or lost. He says, because we are not used to running in sync with anybody. And we're certainly not used to being able to, let's try it one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. How about we do this? How about we slow this? It's my fault. How about we slow this way down? Way down. Okay? Okay, we're going to slow this way down. Nash, here we go. Okay. Have you got me, Nash? Okay, rock and roll. Go for it. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Now give him a round of applause. All right. Wait for it. Someone tell me the name of that song. Chariots of... Wait a minute. I thought we just read about chariots of... Did you know that metaphor is tucked right in that hugely famous movie? And it works like this. Every believer has the moment, has the joy, I'll go this far, has the duty of doing this. Duty, D-U-T-Y, T-U-T. I know. Never say duty. Never say duty in a junior high crowd. Okay, one more time. Every believer has the responsibility. Thank you. All right. We're going to speed this bad boy up. You guys ready? Because now we're going to get serious. So the first, Zach,
Yeah.
there is basically one thing you need to know.
Yep.
There's two. Okay, there are three. That's all. I'm stopping there. There are 3 important things that you need to know, and so do you, Shannon, and so do you, about passing a baton, okay? In fact, I'm going to give each one of you one of them. Zach, yours is really pretty simple. Okay. It is keep running the next right step, okay? Run the next right, here, just look at it right there. Run the next right step and do what? Look ahead. Okay. So when you run and I run, we can't just go, okay, hand me that thing, right? Which would be a whole lot easier. Yep. I have to keep running the next right step. Everybody say, I understand. Are you sure? Because actually what I'm saying is, as a believer, I don't sit around going, okay, who wants to come and get the baton? Who wants to come and know about Jesus? I've got to be out there living out my Christian life, going in my Christian walk, running the next right step. you don't see somebody in a lazy boy on the track going, okay, take this bad boy, right? I've already been baptized, you see. I've already got my Jesus. I already am ready to go to heaven, so I'm just going to wait right here as though I don't have any more responsibility. Here's my responsibility. Run the next right step. Everybody say, run the next right step. And look where? I'm looking ahead, and I'm going to say, hey, Zach, you ready? Here we go. Count off. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Freeze. Now, that looks deceptively simple. But as these guys know, when he held that out, there was a moment when Shannon was like, all right, trying to get a hold of it. Well done over here, very smooth. Here's the deal. If you don't practice, this ain't going to happen. And instead, here we go, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, that's okay. Instead, and 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to get one of those. Now, anybody who is watching fairly closely would say, that was your fault. Some would say, no, he should have reached around and grabbed it. You see, Satan doesn't care whose fault it is. He just wants to make sure that this baton does not get out of this room. He wants to make sure that the kid you sit next to in English class, or the kid that you play sports with, or the kid who lives down the block from you, or the kid whose mom knows your mom, and so sometimes your families get together. He just wants to make sure that nobody who's not a believer in Jesus right now gets continued. And our goal is to make sure we run the next right step and look ahead and then do number 2, which is hold out the baton. Right? Super simple. Can you say it? Now, I already told you that some Christians run around and going, it's just about me and Jesus. It's just about me and Jesus. I love to go worship. Woo! And we praise, and I do my Jesus-cise, and it's awesome. Church clap, and I'm all over it, and it's just me and Jesus. And I go to church, and here's how I think about church. Church is where I go to do my Jesus thing, and I do my private time reading with Jesus, and I do my prayer time with Jesus. And quite frankly, if I get to church and you're like, excuse me, pardon me, I can't see. I want to be able to, see the band and get right down front, pardon me, excuse me, this is my seat. It really doesn't matter that there's anybody else in the stinking building. It's what you call being a selfish baby Christian. That all we care about is my little thing. And I'm telling you, you can be an old, wrinkled, selfish baby Christian because I've been there and done that. Here's some of the ways you know. You go to church and you play, Critic. Well, I didn't like that song very much. Well, I thought that thing was boring. Oh, I really like that. I wish we had that worship leader more often. Man, I don't like this series. Oh, I like that youth pastor. I don't like that youth assistant. I don't know why they do. Excuse me? What in all that is holy do we think we're doing if we're coming to church and treating church like Cirque du Soleil, like I paid for this ticket and you better be good? Church is where I go into, will everybody please quietly say, serve others. Yeah, I go in to serve God with my praise, and I go in to serve my brothers and sisters with encouragement, and I go in saying, I want to be ready, and then when I leave church, I am prepared as a servant. Last time. I am prepared as a servant to make sure this does not drop. However, I cannot, stick your hand back there, Zach. I can't do this. Okay, wrap your fingers around it and hold it really tight. Now we're going to go up here and we're going to give it, that's you good, that's hold that really good. And you're going to, no. I also can't do this. You need Jesus and you need to take this. No, you need you some Jesus. You need Jesus. You need to know, guys, that God gave Zach a very special thing called free will. Everybody say free will. God gave Zach the ability to choose. And I'm not supposed to go, I'm going to force you into being a Christian. You know, that's it's like shoving it down their throat. It's not effective. It's not effective to knock on people's doors and say, hi, you're going to hell and you need to come to church with me right now. It's not going to work well, okay? So what are you going to do at your school then? Let's just go there, okay? Here we go. You ready? First period. I'm in school. I got people sitting all around me, and I'm holding the baton. And all summer, my youth group's been praying about it. And we've been saying, guys, when we get back to school, we need to be ready. We need to be ready, yes, to stand up for our faith. We need to be ready, yes, to do the right thing. But I also need to be looking and saying, would you be interested? What are you doing Sunday? Because there's a cool thing going on in our church, and I don't know if you go to church or not, it really doesn't matter, but if we're going to come and then go lunch afterwards, I'd love to have you go. Or maybe on Tuesday night, or maybe, hey man, some of us are going to dinner tomorrow night. You want to come? It just happens to be all kids from your youth group that they can meet. Now be careful, because I'm also not trying to trick somebody, you know? Hey, look over there. Okay, let's set the baton. Oh, well, what do you know? You got baptized, all right, you know. That's not the approach we want to make. Here's what we want to do. Count it for me. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. High five, Shannon. All right. Now, the last point is this one. Every time we've done this, and I have put the baton in Zach's hand, places, and Zach takes the baton, I don't know if you noticed what I started doing. I leaned out, because I've seen Zach work. And I'm like, ooh, Shannon, you know, once it got in Shannon's hand, I was like, they kind of got a rhythm up there. They got it going on. Lizette, man, she's there. But Zach, I'm like, Now, yeah, you are doing your best. I'm the problem. Because when Elijah handed the baton, you know, his cloak falls to here. Take a look at the text. Put that next text up if you would. The scripture says that once Elijah goes up into heaven and drops his cloak, which is this mantle, and it falls, it's Elijah's physical way of saying, here's the baton, because they didn't have baton relays. And Elisha picked up Elijah's cloak that had fallen from him and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. Now remember that when they crossed the Jordan, Elisha had struck it and the Jordan had parted. Only Elisha's not around now. Elijah is not around now. Now, it's the new guy. And he's standing there looking at the river. And I love his words. Can you guys say his words? Here's the yellow. Let's say it together. Where? Oh, no. You got to hit the words, the Lord, to make this work. Here we go. And he says, where? Exactly. It's not a matter of saying, oh man, where's Elijah? Because Elijah taught Elisha the most important thing. It's not about me. It's about him. It's not about trying to convince somebody, our church is so cool, you're going to love our church. You need to be committed to our church. Hey, dude, they may move to Nova Scotia tomorrow. Your church isn't going with them, but Jesus will go with them always. Can I get a oh yeah? It's not about, our youth pastor is so cool, she is so awesome, or he is so fantastic. Careful. I'm glad you got a fantastic youth pastor, but it's not your youth pastor that is going to get them into heaven. It is not your senior pastor, the preacher. It is not an awesome band. It is Jesus, the Lord of the church, the Lord of lords, the King of kings. And guess what? He works everywhere. Can I get a oh yeah? He works every country. He works every continent. So, here we go. You ready? We're going to have church here if we're not careful. Here we go. I'm going to pass it this time. And when I pass it this time, I am not going to peek. I'm not going to peek because here's principle number 3. You got to trust God to continue his work. It's not about us. It's not about me. On your mark, get set, and 1, 2, 3. Now, I need to move this because we need about 50 other people, but we don't have room for them. Come here a minute. I didn't tell you something that I should have told you. This, it's actually not pretend. Hang on. Zach, can you tell this young lady, when was the first time you ever heard me speak that you remember? Hang on. We got a Mikey here. Let's see if, yeah.
Nice. It was the year 2003.
Shh, listen.
In Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
And I was in the 10th grade.
You were a 10th grader.
Yep.
What happened?
It was Thursday night of CIY.
Wow.
And you were giving a message about leaving here and doing something with what we heard all week. And you used an illustration, and in the 10th grade, you called me up on stage.
As a 10th grade kid?
Yeah.
You didn't. I should have told you. I handed this baton to him. Oh, my word. I'm doing the math. How old are you? I handed him this baton 4 or 5 years before you were born. And now, there were a lot of other people too, let me be clear. It's just kind of weird because the lady that's standing next to him, guess what he's in the process of doing? Handing her, marrying her. Yeah, thank you. Sometimes our out loud voice just does it, doesn't it? It's okay. She is an intern, as you know, at your church. And you know what the function of an internship is? 1, 2, 3, and sharing with her the skills. Do you see the train a-coming? This not the baton. This symbol of going from here to here is actually something that's been happening in our lives. Now, I don't know what your future is. God does, I don't. But I need you to know what I'm praying. I am praying that the experience of having good people in your life is not going to stop here. That you don't take this home and put this up on your shelf and keep it forever. But instead, I don't know who that person is. Maybe they're already in class with you. Maybe it could be a family member. I don't know. But I am praying for the beautiful moment when you're going to be looking and realize, oh my goodness, God, where's my baton? Because I believe God's going to put you there. And you will get to be the person that continues this awesome, holy parade. I can't wait to hear about it. God bless you. Thank you. I'm going to steal it back from you. Thank you, guys. Would you give all 3 of these guys a huge round of applause? Thank you. So, we have a way for you to do that tonight. We have a way for you to hand off even something physical. But unless you are willing to run the next right step, please don't be handing off Jesus if you're not holding on to Jesus. Please don't be extending baton if you're not walking with the Lord. Because all that says is, hey, I'm a hypocrite. You want to be one too? Nobody wants that. So this moment in the week is for you to take a deep breath and ask, all right, what's my next right step? I don't know what it is. For some of you who've never been baptized into Jesus Christ and given your life to him, let me tell you, that is your next right step. It is a beautiful moment. It's simply when you say, I'm in, I'm all in. Baptism is this reenactment of the death, burial, and everybody say resurrection of Jesus. And that resurrection is a huge, important part. That's why every church where I've ever served, whenever we baptize people, when we put them down in the water, we always pull them back up. And not just for health reasons. We do that because we want everybody to see the moment that is coming for every one of us. And it already came for the person who was back here with me. And it came for the person who was, his name was Hubert Derrick. Hubert was a Spanish teacher and a tennis coach. And he met a young man who visited the church once, who worked as an Orange Grove foreman. And Hubert immediately just said, wow, this guy, he's so warm, so good with people. And Hubert befriended him and started talking to him about the Lord. The young man had had some religious experiences before, but he'd never given himself fully and wholly. And Hubert guided him. In fact, Hubert helped him to take that step. But Hubert saw something more than just, hey, that's great, another person who's come to Jesus. Hubert saw in Tom a gift. And so Tom started getting visits at the Orange Grove from Hubert. Hubert would swing by and say, I think God's got a different job for you. I think God might want you to be a fisher of men rather than a picker of oranges. And Tom would laugh. Hubert would come up with all these funny, cool ways to say it. But finally, Tom said, Hubert, when the guy that owns this Orange Grove dies, it's going to become mine. This is in Southern California. There was over 90 acres in this grove, worth literally hundreds of millions of dollars today. And Hubert said, God's got something more valuable than that. And one day, Tom was up on a ladder, and Hubert came out, and as I was told the story, Tom said, I do not have time to talk today, Hugh. If you're not going to pick oranges, move on. Hubert laid his Bible in a little backpack down, and he climbed up in the ladder and started picking oranges with Tom and talking to him about ministry. And something in Tom started to break. And Tom went home and talked to his wife, Mel, and said, I think God might be calling us to work with a new church here in the city. And she said, well, that's fine. We can go to another church. No, he said, I think they might be calling me to pastor. And she said, Tom, we got 2 kids. How is this church going to pay? Tom said, I get the feeling God's going to take care of us. And he went to Lee Nickerson, who owned the Grove, and he told him. And Mr. Nickerson said, no, Tom. You don't have to leave this job to do that. You can do that on Sundays. You go preach every Sunday. That's fine. You just work for me. Remember, this grove will be yours. His kids had no interest, and he loved Tom. Tom said, Mr. Nickerson, I can't. He didn't use this line. I like it. But what he said, in essence, is, I can't take a hold of the baton if my hand's already filled. I've got to let go to take hold. And he did. And when about 8 years later, in a real shock, Tom and Mill got pregnant with their third child 18 years after they'd had the second girl. He called up Lee Nickerson and he said, I'm going to give him the middle name Lee. Spell it like you did, Lee. Leigh. That's my middle name. I spelled it all my life. And whenever anybody asked, how'd you get that weird spelling? I told them that my dad could have been a multimillionaire. But he chose to be a sharer of Jesus. And when I was 21, Dad died. And I would never have handed the baton to Zach or anybody else if he hadn't put it in my hand first. Guys, somebody told somebody told somebody who told somebody who told you, don't let the baton drop, but instead make a decision today that you're going to be a kingdom worker who's going to go home and look for the person and hold out the baton and trust God to continue the story. Will you please stand with me and bow your head? Almighty God, Lord, this night is just so wonderful, and yet, God, we're worn out. Lord, I'm impressed these kids have even stayed awake because they've been so busy and so active. But God, right now, I ask that you join their hearts together. And Father, if they're comfortable, that they just join hands with whoever's standing next to them. That God, across these rows, we stand as one, running together in this race. Like Elijah, we are thrilled that you have called us to continue your work. Like Elisha, some of us have received that baton and are trying to get the rhythm and get ready to hand it off. And Father, others here are needing to make the choice to put Jesus first. So I pray that tonight those choices would all meld together and that we would go out an army of good news sharers. So Father, hear us as for just a moment in silence, we all ask you, please help us take the next right step, whether that's to be baptized, whether that's to say, man, I've got to renew and recommit, whether that is to say, I want to be a kingdom worker who is putting that baton in somebody's hand, holding it out. God, I don't know what the next right step is, but I believe each one of these students, as well as each one of these sponsors, knows. For some of us, it's shutting off the pornography. For others, it is letting go of a habit that started to take control of our very lives. For some, it's lying or greed or even, Father, just total disrespect of parents. God, for others, sexuality has just gotten out of control. And whether they're 13 or 33 or 53, Lord, will you, through your Spirit, help us to be honest in the next 10, 15 seconds in which we silently say to you, God, here's my next right step. Help me with it. This moment is for each of you to silently tell God what's on your heart. Thank you, Lord, for that sweet moment, because I know your response is, I'm here. Let's do it together. So, God, will you just keep us right here in this quietness as Mallory helps us to see the next step that we can take. And in Jesus' name, we all pray and say,
Amen.
Amen.